What's new? Testing progress. The governor gets action from the FDA and forms a new strike task force to track coronavirus cases in Ohio.
Yesterday, I sat here and cried, after I heard the decision by the governor.
Parents and students are devastated that students will not return to the actual classroom for the rest of the year. How they're coping and what some major school districts are doing to make sure the students keep up. Reopening Ohio, is it too soon?
Are you comfortable with that date?
That's a hard question to answer.
Local mayors weigh in on the phases that Ohio is set to reopen. And 3 News gets an exclusive look inside UH's coronavirus testing facilities. Plus, Mike Polk is here to put a smile on everyone's face. His take on everyone's humble bragging on their quarantine projects. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Hello again, everyone. So good to be with you. Thanks for joining us for What's New. I'm Jay Crawford from Studio J. Sara Shookman filling in for Betsy today. Sara, great to see you again. How are you?
Good to see you. This is the Shookman Broadcast Center, or the SBC, as I like to call it.
I love it.
Good to be joining you remotely from here again today. Not quite so sunny outside, so I guess that's Tuesday for you. As always, Jay, we are standing by for President Trump, who is expected to address the nation around 5:30 today, late this afternoon. He met with New York Governor Andrew Cuomo in Washington. Of course, the two have repeatedly clashed over this pandemic, and they are expected to discuss how the federal government and the states can work together to roll out more testing. We will, of course, bring you the press briefing as soon as the president arrives. Jay?
Sara, here at home, Governor Mike DeWine shared some positive news at his daily briefing today about COVID-19 testing. He says Ohio will see a significant increase in testing, and it will happen within a matter of weeks.
Testing is vital as we begin to reopen our economy. We want to reopen the economy. We want to get people back to work. It's important that we do it the right way, that we do it the safe way.
You'll remember the governor publicly called on the federal government to help with testing materials on Sunday. Today, he got that help. The FDA reached out to let him know it has approved the use of a new reagent for COVID-19 testing. That was one of the critical ingredients that there was a shortage of. The governor is also putting together a testing strike team headed by former governors Richard Celeste and Bob Taft. The bipartisan team will work with Ohio leaders to help source critical testing items. Very interesting, Sara.
Sure is. And now on your feet at 5, 24 hours after the news came out, families are starting to deal with the realization that school won't be going back to normal anytime soon. Tiffany Tarpley shows us how they're coping with the changes and the challenges.
2 of the largest school districts in Northeast Ohio are waiting for more guidance from the state on how to handle social distancing when in-person learning returns. But in the meantime, Cleveland Metropolitan School District, they are exploring some options, including possibly staggering schedules to keep a lower number of students in the classroom at one time. As for their seniors, they're thinking about parking lot, virtual, or parade graduations until they can have an in-person ceremony. Akron Public Schools hasn't determined how it will handle social distancing in the future, but parents and students are processing and hoping there can be a new routine.
Sitting at home and having to talk to someone through a screen, or text someone through a screen, or even talk to a teacher through a screen. It's not the same, and you don't feel like you have the same connection.
For the mental aspect of all these kids, the teachers, I think they need to get back to some kind of a normal routine to where they can have that structure and that valued time, in the classroom.
There is no timetable on when in-person learning will begin again, but school districts are working right now to find ways to keep students engaged during the summer months. Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
Tiffany, thank you very much. Now to a 3 News exclusive. University Hospitals gives us a rare look inside their coronavirus testing facilities. They have 3 different testing capabilities. As senior health correspondent Monica Robbins explains, the latest is rapid testing.
During his news conference, Governor DeWine talked about FDA approval of a new reagent to help increase testing capacity across the state. University Hospitals is one of those labs that would benefit. Earlier, they gave me an exclusive look inside their main campus lab that has the ability to now do rapid testing.
It's quick and easy. It actually can give you a COVID result from as soon as 5 minutes and as long as 15 minutes on this actual analyzer. So as soon as we get the sample, we put portions of the sample and pair it with a test reagent. So all just out of the box pieces, put it together, and then within 15 minutes from the sample being up here in the lab and in our hands, you can have a result for the patient. And it helps us route them for appropriate inpatient care and appropriate isolation or infection control precautions.
The rapid testing can be done in other UH facilities as well. Dr. Schmatzer says currently UH labs can do about 500 COVID tests in a day. With a new supply of additional reagents, and they need more than one type, they hope to triple that amount of testing. It will depend on if the type approved is the kind that they need. Meanwhile, it's Medical Lab Professionals Week, and these folks are also on the front lines of this pandemic. And these labs run nearly 24/7 because when they're not testing for COVID-19, they're still running those basic medical tests that we count on them for. So if you know a lab tech, now's the time to say thanks. Monica Robbins, 3 News.
Thank you. That is a very critical role they're filling right now. Well, we know there's a divide amongst the population at this point about that May 1st target date to begin gradually reopening the state. We have been hearing from state officials saying it's a safe time, but we also wanted to reach out to our mayors. Do they think it's too ambitious? Brendan Simmons joins us now with some of their thoughts.
Now, taking a look at data for cases here in Northeast Ohio, Cuyahoga County and Summit County top the list of places where we've seen positive cases, which makes sense. They have the largest populations. But if you take a look at the trends for both areas, you'll see that the numbers are starting to come down. In Cuyahoga County, the daily number of cases peaked earlier this month, and it's about the same for Summit County. But mayors in those counties still have a few concerns as we head toward that May 1st date, namely budgets and protective gear for workers.
I can't say that we're 100% ready or comfortable with that. I mean, we've been trying to locate additional PPE and different things for the city to prepare for it.
I'm not sure what's going to happen May 1st, but I'm sure of one thing. I'm sure whatever Governor DeWine and Dr. Acton and Lieutenant Governor Houston give us as marching orders, I think they'll be well thought out. I think that they will be data-driven and data-supported.
Now, both mayors were supportive of the handling of the pandemic by Governor DeWine and Dr. Amy Acton, saying they've done much better in comparison to other states. They also credited Northeast Ohio for having some of the best health institutions in the world right here in our neighborhoods. But we're not out of the woods yet. We obviously have to continue to monitor how things go once we start that reopening process. Dr. Acton said earlier today it's about having the ability to continue to control the spread as we open things back up. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
Well, it is Travel Tuesday, and with traveling nearly at a standstill at this point, for many people, that means just trying to get their money back for canceled trips. So what are your rights? Well, the GM for Trip Savvy says the Department of Transportation has been very clear that if your flight was canceled because of COVID-19, the airline owes you a refund. But if you are canceling out of nervousness, there's no refund required for that. Refunds are also available for many hotels, but it might depend on how you book the room.
I would book refundable. We've seen the hotel industry really come to the table with very consumer-friendly policies to help make sure that people are made whole.
And when it comes to cruises, if the trip was canceled, many cruise lines are offering you a chance to rebook with 125% of the original fare going toward another trip. Or refunds are usually available within 90 days. The bottom line, if any company is giving you the runaround, you should be patient but persistent.
All right, time to get a check on some of the other headlines making news at this hour. And for that, I throw it to my good friend Russ Mitchell, who's back at the WKYC studios. Hi, Russ. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Jay. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to you at home. Let's begin with reports on the health of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Several U.S. officials have told NBC News that Kim had cardiovascular surgery, and has not been seen in days. South Korea, however, says it cannot immediately confirm reports about Kim's health, including some that he is in grave danger. Congress has reached a deal on a $500 billion coronavirus bill that includes more money for small business loans, as well as hospitals and testing. The Senate will vote on that bill today, the House on Thursday. The president says he will sign it. And some sad news here. It is now official. All Ohio high school spring sports are canceled. Among other events, this marks the first time since 1907 that Ohio will not hold its annual state track meet. And that is so sad. So many athletes, so many of those young folks getting ready all these years for this, and not going to happen.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It really is. I think back to my son, who going into his senior track season was a marginal athlete. He had a breakout season, and that's where he got his Division I scholarship offer. So I keep thinking about all of these kids that could have scholarship offers, but may never happen now because they won't get to showcase their wares in their final season. It is heartbreaking, Russ. It really is.
Really too bad. Now your son's dealing with the Olympics as well, so much respect to him.
Yeah. Russ, we'll see you in the next half hour. Thank you very much. Well, here's a story that baseball fans will want to pay attention to. A group of fans are now suing Major League Baseball over ticket money. A pair of New York fans got together and filed a lawsuit against Major League Baseball, Commissioner Rob Manfred, and the 32 teams. They want their money back for tickets, and they're asking for a class action lawsuit. One fan bought partial season tickets to the Mets game. The other bought 6 tickets to a Yankees-Red Sox game later this year. Ticketmaster, StubHub, Live Nation, and last-minute transactions are also listed as defendants in the lawsuit. According to ESPN, the Major League Baseball is threatening games that haven't been, or rather treating games that haven't been played as postponements. Therefore, they're not officially cancellations yet. That's why they're not giving anyone their money back. It'd be very interesting to see how a court views all this. Ahead on What's New, just how far can your cough travel? I'll give you a hint. It can be more than 6 feet. And Stephanie, what's clicking in Cleveland?
Jay, Terminal Tower will be lit up blue and green tonight for the same reason Hamilton star Leslie Odom Jr. was supposed to be here. We'll tell you why. Now to Matt Wins for the weather.
Well, hi there, Stephanie. The wind is howling outside. We had some snowflakes earlier. Many of you still seeing them. Area low pressure swirling across the Great Lakes. That moves out, but what moves in? I've got your forecasts coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. We know that social distancing is important, and we keep hearing that it's 6 feet. But now we actually get to show you why this is so important. You may not realize just how far tiny particles can travel through the air, both when you cough and sneeze. Matter of fact, even when you talk. NBC's Carrie Sanders takes a closer look at the science behind the 6-foot rule.
Scientists at Florida Atlantic University using a lab to visualize what happens when we cough.
Charging.
The engineering professors use a dummy to simulate the cough droplets we all create.
3, 2, 1.
The FAU team uses a laser to follow how far those droplets travel. What you're looking at is a mixture of water and glycerin that creates smoke, 10 to 20 microns in size, the same size and weight of the smaller droplets of fluid we expel when we cough. The simulation shows the projection. 3 feet traveled in less than 2 seconds. Within 12 seconds.
That's at 6 feet.
And in 41 seconds.
There we go, 9 feet. And that was a cough, would you say?
That was a heavy cough.
In some tests, we saw the cough travel up to 12 feet.
Okay, this is a slight cough.
The scientists say naturally, a lighter cough doesn't travel as far. In every simulation, we observed what the naked eye cannot see.
So what we are basically simulating here is the fate of the small particles, the small droplets.
And the fate that we saw was some drops with gravity,
yeah.
Some is suspended,
in
and the biggest surprise is the ones that rise.
Right.
But we shouldn't be surprised because what's causing it to rise?
What's causing it to rise is the thermal currents.
Those microthermal currents are all around us as you stand in your house, sit in your car, or shop in a grocery store.
If I'm in a grocery store and somebody coughs, do I turn around and run the other direction?
Don't run the other direction, but my suggestion is avoid that area for a few minutes.
Because it's lingering in the air.
It could be lingering in the air.
Increasingly, masks are commonplace. Remember, the use of a mask is to protect other people, not you. It doesn't stop at 100%, but you can see how it dissipates a cough. Dr. Donald Milton at the University of Maryland.
I'm not sure I understood the distance that a simple light cough could travel.
Well, this is one of the reasons why there was a recommendation for surgical masks, because the surgical masks are going to slow down that jet and prevent it from traveling as far.
If I see somebody not wearing a mask, what should I conclude?
They're irresponsible.
Wow, that is absolutely fascinating, number one. Carrie Sanders, thanks for that story. It just incredible. I had no idea. Secondly, it was only a few weeks ago when the CDC was telling us no masks are needed, none. So we didn't wear them. And now, a month later, if you're not wearing a mask, you're irresponsible. Incredible. Please do as they say, wear a mask. Cover your mouth when you sneeze and cough. That video is proof that it helps. Okay, it is time to take a turn to the weather. And Matt, one only knows how far your cough or sneeze would travel outside in today's winds. I'm not kidding you. I was fearful the roof was going to blow off my house here in Chagrin Falls today. I'm going to start a wind farm. And with all of that being said, your weather word for the day is turbine. What's going on?
Turbine? How am I going to fit that into the forecast, Jay? Jeez.
I don't know.
I'll tell that's the most random word you could possibly come up with. All right, well, we'll try to work on that here into the forecast. But you're right. I mean, it is just day and night across Northeast Ohio in terms of the weather that we get. That's what makes it enjoyable. I love being a meteorologist here. But you know what? Some of the residents probably a little sick of it by now. But what does Mother Nature have in store over the next couple days? Let's try to answer that question. Wind gusts this afternoon have approached 40 miles per hour or greater in spots, right over Jay's house especially. You can see wind gusts over the last 15 minutes still in the 30 to 35 mile per hour range. And this is all courtesy of that low pressure, that potent front I was talking about last night that went through. Temperatures still in the 30s out in Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County. We're warmest as you get down towards the Akron, Dover, New Philly area, sitting in the mid 40s right now. If you would have told me Bismarck would have a warmer temperature today than Cleveland, and I didn't know anything about weather, I'd be like, not really happening. It's 75 degrees in areas of the Dakotas right now. We are the coldest spot in the country here in the Northeast as that cold front continues to tap into that cooler air. And yeah, we've had some lake effect rain and snow showers as predicted today. Some of it coming down pretty good. This time of year you get almost thunderstorm-like growth with the heating that we have, so it comes down pretty good when it does. But this is all going to clear out tonight. I think a couple more hours of some lake effect snow showers out east. There's our system in the Plains states that will move in here tomorrow. So why don't we just spin the wheel, shall we? See what we've got in the forecast tomorrow. Oh, we just missed 89 degrees. 46 with some more rain and snow in the afternoon. It's not going to be that bad, but we'll take you through it. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. The wind turbines will continue to blow overnight tonight. That's terrible, Jay. As we have that northwest wind blowing in, temperatures will be in the 30s. Guys, it's going to be cold tomorrow morning. We're going to be in the upper 20s as you start your Wednesday. What season is this? Look, by afternoon, we bring in the clouds after some morning sunshine, and then we're doing it all over again. Some rain and snow showers, which will likely stay. This is along a warm front tomorrow afternoon, though. That's the good news. Rain and snow continues to change over to just showers tomorrow night. And Thursday, we get some warmer air in here finally, but it'll come at a price. We're going to have some rain moving in as an area of low pressure swirls in from the south. So let's put it all together for you. The Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. 46 tomorrow, another cool day with that late day rain and snow moving in. Thursday, we're way up into the 50s with some showers, and then rainfall chances almost every day over the next 7, but temperatures, not approaching those 70s and 80s that we saw out in the plains. Turbine, Jay, back to you.
You're being too hard on yourself. I thought that was a great use of the word. Wind turbines, turn them up. That's what it feels like outside my house.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matt, have an enjoyable rest of your day. In fact, we're going to see you in the next half hour with more weather. Hey, if you're downtown or in the area downtown tonight, take a look at Terminal Tower. It's going to be blue and green. Stephanie Haney is going to tell us why next in Clicking in Cleveland.
Sara, Ohio health officials are now saying that it might be more dangerous.
Welcome back. It is time to check on what is clicking in Cleveland today with our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Sarah. First up, Ohio experts are now saying in the medical field that it might be more dangerous than we previously thought to reopen the state on May 1st. And that has a lot of people very nervous. We posted a Twitter poll about this on the WKYC page, and 73% of people say no, the governor should not allow businesses to reopen now, like Barbara, who says that even with struggling to pay bills, she'd rather be in debt and alive than dead. Now that sounds morbid, but could potentially be a reality if we don't do this right. Michael Beck says we shouldn't rush and would like to see testing in place and the curve consistently trending down. This is something we have not seen yet at the state level. Dave Davidson, however, says we shouldn't live in fear and just keep up necessary safety precautions and continue to live our lives. But others still are calling Governor Mike DeWine out for what seems like a 180 reversal after he's been saying for so long that he was going to listen to the experts. But now it seems like maybe he isn't, or at least not to these experts. All right, now if you're in the downtown area tonight and you look up in the sky, you're going to see the Terminal Tower is blue and green in honor of the National Council of Jewish Women in Cleveland because they're celebrating 125 years. And Hamilton Broadway star Leslie Odom Jr. was supposed to be here for their ball that got canceled, so he sent this message instead.
While I am heartbroken I'm not with you today in person to celebrate, I still wanted to send this video just to be a part of the moment of wishing you and thanking you, wishing you well and thanking you for 125 years of changing the lives of countless women and children and families in Cleveland. Thank you so much for what you do.
The Tony winner told everyone to stay safe and be well, and he looks forward to celebrating in person very soon. Now, we don't have any word yet on the new date for the gala, but we will make sure to share that with everyone when we know. And speaking of celebrity shout-outs, Cleveland Indians manager Terry Francona has apparently joined Cameo, which is a personalized shout-out website. So, Sarah, according to that site, you can get your own shout-out from Tito for just $75.
Wow, Michael Simon's on there. They've got lots of Cavs and other Indians on there. So if you're looking for something to do and want to hear from these guys, it's a good idea. Thanks, Stephanie. Well, it is all the rage how a little-known new skin treatment made from algae may be the key to keeping wrinkles at bay. Plus, your fitness tracker could also be tracking coronavirus, the partnership that may mean a new way to detect the illness. And humble brag how social media is allowing everyone to showcase their talents now more than ever.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And welcome back to What's New. I'm Jay Crawford, working from home along with Sara Shookman, who's in for Betsy today. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Very good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Good to work with you. And lots of good news going around here on What's New, including a 3 heroes story we have to share with everyone. This band called Detention is made up of Northeast Ohio teens, and they're trying not to lose any momentum during this pandemic. So the group, Jay, released their first music video. Check it out.
I'm wide awake in my bed, thinking of everything I never should have read.
So each member shot their portion of the video, and then they edited all 4 together for the song, which is called In Reverse. And despite having their gigs at Austin's South by Southwest Festival and even here at the House of Blues canceled because of coronavirus, they're staying optimistic and excited to get back on stage soon. Well, UX spoke with the band members, and we'll have much more tonight at 11. They've got a good sound.
Pretty cool. And you know, Sara, if they're getting gigs like that, they're pretty good and they do have traction going. Good luck to them. I'll look forward to that story tonight at 11 o'clock. Well, leading off at 5:30, one thing many Ohioans look forward to each year is their county fair. But today, Governor Mike DeWine said he's not sure what the future of county fairs look like.
We don't know what's going to happen this year. But we also do know that the costs incurred by the fair boards continue. So we have been evaluating how we can be of assistance.
Governor DeWine announced the Ohio Department of Agriculture will waive the requirement that agriculture societies must put up matching funds to receive $50,000 facilities grants. Fairs that qualify will still get this money to put towards improvements, even if they can't match that amount. Fair managers have until May 30th to apply. All right, it's time for our top talker now. Many of us have some sort of fitness tracker. It's amazing what they can do, and they do a lot of good things. They could also hold the key to knowing if you have coronavirus. Right now, the Cleveland Clinic is partnering with the fitness tracking company Whoop to see if the wearable device can actually help detect early infections.
Pretty much that Saturday before I got sick, my recovery score is about 95%, and it kind of dropped.
Very interesting. New Yorker Brian Eisenberg says his metric changed just a few days before he started feeling symptoms. The company's CEO says they are now tracking COVID-19 in the app when users opt into the study. Researchers will look for patterns.
And be able to understand, okay, if they first felt symptoms on this date, what does their data look like before that? What does it look like after that?
Very interesting. Just a reminder, Whoop is not a medical device, but users and researchers hope it will shed a new light on the virus. Fitbit and Apple Watches are also part of different coronavirus studies. Sara?
University Hospitals is expanding its use of a disposable patch that can monitor its employees' temperatures. Now, caregivers, particularly those who are working with COVID-19 patients, can wear what's called a temp track. It is a single-use disposable wireless patch that will continuously monitor a person's temperature, and it works for up to 72 hours. It allows UH to monitor employees' temperatures through a dashboard with little to no direct contact. Caregivers can opt into this program. Well, it is time now to check on the other big headlines of the night, and my partner Russ Mitchell is holding it down at the WKYC studios. Hi, Russ.
I'm like Eric Carmen here, all by myself, Sara. What can I say?
We miss you.
Miss you too. Good to see you. Here's what's happening. More help is on the way for struggling businesses. And the Senate has just approved a $500 billion bill to help small businesses, hospitals, and pay for testing. That bill will replenish the Paycheck Protection Program. The House will vote on this Thursday. The president says he will sign it. The IRS has a message for anyone who does not file a tax return but has dependents. You'll get your stimulus check of $1,200, but if you have dependents, you need to go to the IRS website by noon tomorrow and complete a form to get that $500 for each eligible child. An insulin maker is offering diabetic patients free insulin for 90 days if they no longer have health insurance. Novo Nordisk says this is for people who have lost their jobs over the coronavirus fallout. And we want to say happy birthday to Queen Elizabeth. She's 94 years old today. Now, normally royal birthdays and anniversaries are marked by gun salutes across London, but that will not happen this year. Queen Elizabeth is the world's oldest and longest reigning monarch. And when I talked to her this morning, Sarah, I wished her a happy birthday for all of us. How's that?
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I'm sure she did as well. Hope she's having a good day over there.
She is.
Thanks, Russ.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't know about Russ. He has a hotline directly to the Queen. He's connected. Well, there's that music again. It's time for our daily pop break. And today, Steph tells us about Tom Brady getting busted. And A-Rod gets serious about the New York Mets. Stephanie Haney fills us in.
Birthday tributes from her famous siblings rolled in over the weekend for Kourtney Kardashian, but one surprise really took the cake. Her brother Rob gave her their late father's record collection, featuring artists like Etta James, Luther Vandross, and Neil Young. On Instagram, Kourtney posted the spread, calling it her favorite birthday present. New team, new city, and new rules. Tampa Bay quarterback Tom Brady got caught working out in a park in his new neighborhood. The problem? The park was closed as part of a stay-at-home order.
It was Tom Brady.
Oh my goodness.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
He has been cited.
The city of Tampa didn't seem too bothered by it, though, tweeting, "We can't wait to welcome you, but until then, Tom, stay safe and stay home." And we all have our favorite baseball teams, but some are more surprising than others. Despite winning a World Series with the New York Yankees, now retired Alex Rodriguez grew up a Mets fan. And now, according to Variety, he and fiancée Jennifer Lopez are raising money to buy the team. Last month, the MLB star told Jimmy Fallon he was definitely interested.
If the opportunity came up, I would certainly look at it, and maybe you can buy them with me. I need a partner. Yeah, of course, I'm there with you. Let's do it. Let's buy the Mets. Yes.
While the power couple certainly isn't poor, they'll need a lot of cash to play in the big leagues. Forbes estimates the team is worth $2.4 billion.
That's a lot of money. Now, while they try to raise that cash, J-Lo is being sued over a photo she posted on Instagram in 2017. A New York photographer says that he owned the rights to the photo and J-Lo used it without permission and without paying him, and now he wants $150,000. So the photo got about 660,000 likes according to the lawsuit, Jay, which, by the way, not a lot of likes for a J-Lo photo.
It's a lot of bread for a J-Lo photo, though. Stephanie, thanks. One other note, by the way, on Tom Brady. This is huge. His old running mate, Steph, his tight end in New England, Rob Gronkowski, who retired, has been traded by the New England Patriots for a 4th-round draft pick. People close to Gronk says he is indeed coming back. So Brady and Gronk together again. Steph, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. Start a new hobby while staying home? Many have. Next, see how social media is now a go-to for those hobby bragging rights. And hey, Matt, how's the weather looking?
Well, hi there, Jay. Welcome to late April across Northeast Ohio. The wind's howling outside. We've had some snow around, but things are going to change, and for the better over the next couple days. Low pressure going to head on out. Got a little something to contend with tomorrow, but then it's off to the races with those temps. We'll detail it coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. With nowhere to go, a lot of us are finding new hobbies to take up some of our time, like baking, crafting, working out, whatever the case may be. But you may have noticed there's a bit of social media boasting that sometimes goes along with the excitement about one of these new activities. Our Mike Polk looks at what some are calling the hobby humble brag.
I know this whole global crisis has us all very stressed out right now, but have you taken the time to say to yourself, what is my social media presence saying about me during this global pandemic? Because this is no time to fall behind.
And that is how you build a violin from scratch.
We're not strangers to portraying a carefully curated representation of ourselves that portrays us in an unrealistically positive light. That's the American way. But during this crisis, people are really upping their game to make sure that you know they're being more productive than you are. One of the hardest things about teaching yourself Mandarin is learning the verb conjugation. Here's a little trick that I've learned. All of our timelines right now are littered with posts from friends and celebrities showing off their unique talents, baking perfect loaves of bread, and working out as if they're going to become a Navy SEAL as soon as this is all over. And I'll be honest, as someone like myself who is trying to promote and protect their brand during these trying times, it's been a real challenge to keep up with the advanced level of braggadocio that's on display right now. And done. Not my best work, obviously, but I mean, for 25 minutes, I think this is pretty impressive. Right now, if you want to display your superiority over everyone else online, you really got to take it to the next level. If you're just joining me, I've been working on a vaccine for COVID in my kitchen for the last week, and I think I might have just nailed it. It is a constant daily challenge, but I guess this is what we online braggers have been training for our whole lives. Were you looking for these? My good friend David Blaine taught me that. I owe him a phone call. Everybody keeps saying we're all in this together, and that's true, but it's important to remind everybody that some of us are better at being in it together than everyone else. And unless I'm mistaken, that is checkmate. Not today, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, no. Was one of my local Emmys in the shop the whole time? I don't know why this is even out. My niece was probably playing with it. I'll have my butler put it with the other ones. He's coming. This is Mike reporting for 3 News. I'm doing it better than anyone else.
You're absolutely right, Mike. You are doing it better than anyone else. And thanks for the daily belly laugh. You never let me down. Good stuff. Matt Wintz makes me feel lazy and unaccomplished after watching all of that.
I know. I feel like we should take up sewing or something, Jay.
I'm down.
Yeah, we'll have to take some YouTube lessons. We'll be okay. Mama had to go to the store to get some cat food. Normally she's watching the kids in the background. She's not here to do that right now, so we'll see what happens. So I made Jay have to do the forecast a little bit and go back to Hungry Caterpillar and then go back to the forecast again. So just giving you a little heads up in case something weird happens here. So let's dive into the weather because it has been windy and just what season is it outside, right? We get snow in April, but this is getting a little old here. Spring tending to be a little bit later the last 3 seasons here. And we're dealing with some rain and snow showers still. This is all lake effect, folks. You bring cold air, especially aloft out over the warm lake, which is in the 40s right now, relatively speaking, and you get this. Had a pretty decent little area. Grapple just moved through Chardon. That's heading east. Areas of southern Ashtabula County near Orwell seeing some quick hits of some snow mixed with a little bit of rain. Then up towards Conneaut, Kingsville, seeing the same thing. You can see upstream, the northern lake still getting some snow, so that will likely continue it out in Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County tonight. But our system that we're going to watch move into the area tomorrow is this little doozy out in Minnesota. Doesn't look like much, but this is a boundary that'll set up between the warm air, where it's in the 70s just to the west of that snow in Minnesota, and that boundary boundary will pretty much set up over our area tomorrow, and boundaries often to create a lot of lift in the atmosphere, so that will produce some rain and snow showers once again. But the wind continues to howl tonight. This will start to ease overnight. It's going to be a breezy night, but the wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour will start to ease just a little bit as we lose that daytime heating. Temperatures, yeah, it's chilly out there. Our average high is in the 60s, and we haven't done that today. We're in the 30s and the 40s, and we're heading down to the 20s overnight tonight. Temperatures across the country, look at the warm-up in the Plain States. It's that boundary between the 76 in Bismarck and our 40s that's going to set up tomorrow and create some of those rain and snow showers. We're going to kind of fluctuate back and forth between that over the next couple days, but no big warm-ups here in the forecast. Tomorrow's Get Outside forecast, do it early because we're going to start with sunshine on your Wednesday. We're going to increase the clouds and eventually bring some rain and snow showers back to the area. And also our sneezecast remains at moderate levels for tree and grass pollen, and looks like that rain and snow will continue as we go into the afternoon. All right, President Trump taking the stage right now. Jay, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. He is about ready to begin his daily coronavirus press briefing. Let's listen in.
Every American continue to be with our fellow citizens who have lost a cherished friend or family member to the virus. Amidst our grief, we're making tremendous strides against this invisible enemy. Thanks to our aggressive campaign against the virus and the extraordinary talent of our medical professionals, our mortality rate remains roughly half of that of many other countries and one of the lowest of any country in the world. And that's due to a lot of things, but our medical professionals have been incredible. Since we announced our guidelines on opening up America, as we call it. We say opening up America, and we add the word again. I think we can add the word probably again, but that's what it is. We're opening up America again. 20 states representing 40% of the U.S. population have announced that they are making plans and preparations to safely restart their economies in the very near future. So that's 20 states. It's about 40% of our country. They're moving along pretty quickly. 3 announced today, as you know. And they're going to be doing it safely. They're going to be doing it with tremendous passion. They want to get back to work. The country wants to get back to work. A short time ago, the Senate passed the Paycheck Protection Program and Healthcare Enhancement Act with additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program, hospitals, and testing. A lot of money for all of them, especially for our workers and our small businesses. My administration has worked aggressively with Congress to negotiate this critical $482 billion funding package. We reached a deal that includes $382 billion in crucial small business support to keep workers on the payroll, $75 billion to aid hospitals, which really need the aid, and very badly, very proud of that, and $25 billion to support coronavirus testing efforts. I urge the House to pass the bill, and they're going to be voting on it, I imagine, very, very soon. I think while we're here, and so he's a very busy man, as you know, Secretary Mnuchin, he's going to be running back, so I thought we'll talk about that now, and we'll take a couple of questions on that, and then he can go and start phase 4 as the ink is drying. Probably they'll be voting tomorrow in the House, but shortly, and I think we have tremendous support. So, Steve, please come up, say a few words. Steve? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. And
all right, 3 News will continue streaming the daily coronavirus press briefing. You can find that over on WKYC.com. We're going to take a break. What's new is coming right back.
I'd like to thank Kevin McCarthy.
Welcome back. Maybe you've seen this floating around. One of the newest, latest health crazes out there is sea moss. And it's made into a gel that people are using on their hair and skin to keep it moisturized and reduce wrinkles. It's also believed to reduce inflammation if you ingest it. So, does it really work? We turn to Cleveland Clinic, where a dietitian and dermatologist tell us they have gotten a lot of questions about the stuff.
I think with any type of algae, there's anti-inflammatory benefits, and we've seen that in things like spirulina. So once we get into anti-inflammatory, that's very high level. Anti-inflammatory, once you can start reducing inflammation, especially chronic inflammation, you can help to reduce diseases, you can prolong your life, things like that. Now, again, it's too strong to say that if you have sea moss, you're going to live this long, glorious life, right? There's other components to anti-inflammatory benefits as well.
It's rich in sulfur, and we know that sulfur has a lot of antibacterial, antiviral, and antimicrobial functions. So not only when we talk about gut microbiome, but also the skin microbiome, we know, that alteration between good and bad bacteria is crucial, especially when you look at skin diseases, things like acne and eczema and rosacea. So, ultimately restoring that skin microbiome is really important.
Now, both experts say it is important to remember that these believed benefits are based off of general algae-based products. There is no scientific evidence out there about sea moss just yet. And there are still risks, like with ingesting it or applying too much on your first try.
Sometimes patients have this fallacy in them, and where they will say, well, something looks good and it's trending and it looks like it's going to help my health, more will be better. Getting too much iodine can be really problematic, especially when you're on certain medication.
Just because something's natural doesn't mean you can't be allergic to it or get irritation from it. So I always recommend when we're using something, especially that may have other preservatives or ingredients, to do what we call a use test. So to put a pea-size amount, maybe along the jawline behind the ear, wait 24 hours to make sure you don't have a reaction to it before applying it to your whole face.
The other thing there is where you're getting this sea moss. No doctors are prescribing it at the moment, so most people are finding it places online like Amazon. Our Worth the Watch video is next here on What's New, and you don't want to miss this trick shot. Stay with us.
Yes, how are you? Sure. We did the math and found that 59% of positive cases among all Ohio prisoners
All right, it's our Worth the Watch video, and it's pretty cool. I think it is anyhow. It's a UK rugby player. His name is Mark Sneyd. He combined his rugby skills with basketball. Watch this. First reverse shot is going to hit the rim pretty close, but his second one is nothing but net. Take another look. Sarah, that's pretty good. I could try that 1,000 times and come nowhere near it. My man nailed it on try number 2.
I wonder how many times. Do you think it was try number 2? At least from what we could see, right? It's still very impressive.
Pretty cool. Very neat. Thanks for watching What's
Very
New. We're
cool
back
to
tomorrow.
Thanks for letting me join you tonight, Jay. I'll be back with Jimmy at 7 o'clock. What matters most?